Hey, good morning. This is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life bringing you the AA Word of the Day for March 17th, 2025. It's a Monday, and my roof is being put on today. And it's also St. Patrick's Day, and they're delivering the shingles today, and we'll put the roof on tomorrow. It's a small 940 square foot house, so it won't take long to put the roof on. And I'm happy. It was a long, 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 long fight, but I figured I was right, and they're quick enough to tell me when I don't pay my bill, but they don't want to give out any money when you have a storm. I realized they took a bath down here, so many people in the back-to-back hurricanes, but I will feel so much better when the roof is secure. So, here's the quote. Out of every season of grief or suffering, when the hand of God seemed heavy or even unjust, new lessons for living were learned. New resources of courage were uncovered. And finally, inescapably, the conviction came that God does move in mysterious ways with his wonders to perform. And this is the commentary. Well, that quote was 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 105. And here's the commentary, Daily Reflections. After losing my career, family, and health, I remained unconvinced that my way of life needed a second look. My drinking and other drug use were killing me, but I had never met a recovering person or an AA member. I thought I was destined to die alone and that I deserved it. At the peak of my despair, my infant son became critically ill with a rare disease. Doctors' efforts to help him proved useless. I redoubled my efforts to block my feeling, but now the alcohol had stopped working. I was left staring into God's eyes, begging for help. My introduction to AA came within days through an odd series of coincidences, and I have remained sober ever since. My son lived and his disease is in remission. The entire episode convinced me of the powerlessness and unmanageability of my life. Today, my son and I thank God for his intervention. Very powerful story. Uh, my father was not an alcoholic. He had occasional drinks, but he'd stop after one or two cans of beer, and that was it. Taking his inventory, but it just didn't appear to me to be an alcoholic. Never asked for help. Looked like he never needed it. But he had one of these incidents in his life. He's a very spiritual man, my father. When I was one, my 2.5-year-old brother, his namesake, his oldest son, died at my birthday party in a drowning accident. And he is a true Christian. He was a true Christian. And what came out of I really didn't understand what happened. But what came out of it for me was all the great love that my father showed me after that incident, and how he was absolutely convinced God had a plan for his life. Yeah, he was a badass in World War II. Uh, and then to come home and finally have your own son named after you and to lose him at such a young age, uh, it had to be tough for him. And he did not turn to liquor or anything. He used to hold me. I can remember him watching television on the old black and white 9-inch TV and just holding me tight, holding me really tight. And I'd say, "Dad, it hurts." And he'd just kiss the top of my head and not hold me so tight. Uh, and this poor man, in this daily reflection, his son was very ill. And he finally realized that things happen over which we have absolutely no control. And I've learned that lesson firsthand. And as it stands now, I lost my brother in a drowning accident, but three of my other brothers I lost to alcoholism, drug abuse, a combination of both, and the latest being my youngest brother, 14 years my junior, who got drunk and went outside at minus 19 degrees, the coldest day ever recorded in Rhode Island, fell and froze to death. And that was just 2 years ago that happened. So we are not in control. I wasn't in control of my brother. He wasn't in control of himself. He just, I don't know. It's we always cling to this idea that I can control something, and I really can't. Uh, it's sad because we won't, you know, we want to think that we're able to at least control our lives, maybe not other people's, and it's not true. Uh, and I am so glad that this person, I was going to say guy, but I don't know if it was a man or a woman who wrote this, has still got AA to help him grow spiritually. And I'm glad that God saw fit to let his son go into remission. Yeah, when I think of things now, at almost 75 in a couple of weeks, and my father, he would have been 31. Um, I can't imagine it. I can't imagine him having all those kids and spending his life raising us and loving us. So it says here, move in mysterious ways his wonders to perform. We just don't know the end game. What what is the purpose of all of this? And there is grief and suffering. And this is and it seemed heavy or even unjust, and I'm sure my father had that feeling for however long, that it was a terrible burden to give to him and my mother. So, that's it for me today. I wish you all a safe and sober Monday. I will let you know how things are going with the roof. I just wanted to get it secure before we get into another hurricane season. I think it starts in May, and that's not too. I had to fight for over 6 months, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They were starting to push my buttons that when I was drinking would lead me into a real world of hurt, because I'd say things, but I was able to keep it professional and civil, and finally, in the end, they agreed. So, God bless you all. See you tomorrow. I got a cup of coffee.